All right, what's going on? Welcome to this training on the three whys. I got a lot of messages from you guys that you guys would rather have this in training form rather than the live training. So here it is. So the three whys. The goal of every sales call should be for you to help your prospects eliminate any other possible avenues of achieving their desired results other than your product or your service. And we're not trying to do this just by smooth talking or some fucking sleazy tactics, but by genuinely exploring with them their why, right? All these three whys that I'm going to cover with you guys today, they have to be extracted during the discovery phase of the sales call. So the first one is why this. Remember, during every single sales call, there are two sales being made, right? The first sale is being made on your specific approach, not your product, not your service, but just your approach, how you're going to get them the results that you're going to get them, or how you're going to eliminate their pain or eliminate their problem. Now, once you've made the sale of your specific approach, only then will your actual deliverables of your product or your service would even matter, right? So first and foremost, you want to find out why your prospect chose this, which is, again, your approach or your method of solving their problem or achieving their desire. So let's say you're selling an intermittent fasting fitness product. So you can ask something like, so Mr. Prospect, why do you think you can get results with intermittent fasting rather than the traditional 3 to 5 meals a day? Or maybe if you're selling an online biz op or approach to making an income online, you can say something like, so John, what makes you think you can make that 10K a month we spoke about with drop shipping instead of maybe one of the other business models, right? There's so many ways of making money online: digital marketing, e-commerce, Shopify, et cetera, et cetera. Why not try one of those? And the goal here is to start having them justify to you why what you're selling is the ideal solution to what they're looking for, right? And these questions, why you want to do this instead of someone else, most people are not going to give you negative responses. They're going to give you positive reasons why they think your thing works or your approach works or what you're doing works. The second why is why now. Your next why has to be one creating urgency. If there's no urgency built, there's no deal. At least not today. Again, follow-up is a whole nother conversation, but we're not here for that. Our goal is to maximize chances of closing the deal on that first call. All right? I remember years ago, and it doesn't hold as true today, but years ago when I was in car sales, they used to tell us, if you don't spot them, you don't got them. So you got to try to do your best to close a deal the first chance you have. So you want to find out why your prospect's on the sales call with you today. Why not 6 months ago? Or why not wait till January 2024, right? Every fucking diet starts at the beginning of the year. Why not do that? So you can ask them questions like, Mr. Prospect, you've been in XYZ pain or XYZ problem for the past 2 years, and you finally decided to reach out to us. Curious, man, what made that happen? What made that change? Or what shifted recently? Or you can ask something like, why not just wait until the start of the new year to do this? Or you can say something like, why haven't you done anything about XYZ pain or XYZ problem for the past 2 years? Why did you just decide to just sit there and just wait? Or why are you here now? Why not continue waiting? So on and so forth, right? Elicit their reasoning behind the now aspect. And you can use it later to overcome objections if needed. But if you find out these three whys, chances are you're probably not going to get objections. And if you do, they're fucking smoke screens. All right? And the last but not least is why us? Now, for those of you that have been in sales for any more than a couple of months, you know for any sale to be made, trust has to be involved. Right, especially in today's day and age where there's so much noise, there's so many people claiming X, Y, and Z, and they can't really deliver results. So if the prospect doesn't trust you or the company you're selling for, it's going to be very tough to make that sale. It's going to be a fucking uphill battle, regardless how good you might be at handling objections or any of the other stuff. This one has to be a little bit more subtle. You can't be direct with this and almost fly under the radar during conversation, right? So for an example here is, I'm curious, John, there's like 3 other companies doing similar things as we are. Out of curiosity, man, what made you reach out to us instead of them? Right now, this conversation goes one of two ways. One, they're like, oh yeah, you know what? We are shopping around XYZ company, or we are shopping around ABC company after this call. In that scenario, if you've seen the previous trainings I've done, you always want to be the last person. to speak to, right? You want to push them away, tell them, look, we're the most expensive one, blah, blah, blah. You're better off talking to them first. And then, you always want to be the last person that your prospect talks to if your prospect is shopping around. But if they're not, whatever their reasoning is, it is their reasoning of trusting you to, at the minimum, book a call. Whatever their reasoning is to your why us question, whichever question you choose, it is their reasoning of trusting you. Now, obviously, these all have to be done in a conversational fashion, right? You cannot ask any of these questions or any question on a sales call, honestly, to acting like a robot, right? None of this shit will work if that's how you sell. If you're reading a script, you're not going to make it. I promise you. You might get a close here and there, but it's not you. Those were fucking laydowns. Your skill was not involved if you're reading a script and closing deals. Anyways, this all has to be done in a conversational fashion. And I just added a pro tip to this as well. So funny enough, using the word why, sometimes, depending on the prospect that you're talking to, depending if you're B2C versus B2B, it might come off a bit aggressive, right? So again, if that's the case, if you read your prospect and they start putting up some walls, some resistance, when you're asking them some of these why questions, feel free to replace it with what type of questions. So instead of why did you book this call, what made you book this call? Right? It's a nuance of a difference. It's a very small tweak, but it has a huge impact. So again, the 3 whys are why this, why now, why us. Find out these 3 whys. They're in the discovery section of your call. And I promise you, you guys are going to, number one, start eliminating objections, and you're going to start closing more deals. And that's it for this one. See you on the next one. Peace.